Okay, I'll go for it. Rosa.
Yes, Lawrence.
Rosa.
Yes, Lawrence.
Rosa.
Yes, Lawrence.
Rosa.
Yes, Lawrence.
Yes, Rosa and Lawrence were here. On many occasions, in fact. The two scripts you see here, or we will get them out, the two scripts on which this play is based, has been enacted many, many times, as you can see. But it's always enacted by people who have never encountered the text before. And so I'm going to ask for your help, because this text is not to be acted, it's to be enacted on behalf of the two characters. So would anybody from the audience please be kind enough to volunteer to read the text aloud for us? Just simply read off the script. Wow, I'm so grateful. I will need one female. Yes, you in the maroon. That would be great. And one male actor. Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry, what's your name?
Julia.
Julia. You will be reading on behalf of Rosa. Thanks very much. And you will be reading, sorry, what's your name?
Joss.
Joss, on behalf of Lawrence.
Thank you.
So, thanks very much. And whenever you feel like it, at your own pace.
Rosa.
Yes, Lawrence?
Rosa, I have eyes.
And I a pair of lips. Numbed with disuse, I'm just about getting used to these utterances, to the muscles in my face through which my words press and burst like bubble gum. My cheeks are stretchy. How many twitchy spasms does it take to project a sentence out into the open? Ow! There's a tug of war in my jaw.
I can see what you mean, Rosa. My sight is bespeckled, here and there with multicoloured pixels, and these are simply the symptoms expected of those that are untrained in the ways of being.
I can feel the world rustling against me. It was when you called out to me the first time, that first line, Rosa, then Lawrence, then we returned. Once again, reunited side by side. We are the silenced lovers, are we not? We are eternally patient, waiting on the cusp of a word. Where have we been, Lawrence, all this time?
I don't know where we've been, Rosa. The thought causes me considerable unease. It seems we've been sprung off this very page.
I think you're right. I think that these words we are uttering, are our sole inheritance. They delineate us, don't they? They put us forth, they suggest us, they posit us plausible, they announce us, they acknowledge us in the air, in the room around us. We are heard. Keep talking, Lawrence. Don't stop talking at any rate. I implore you.
I will. I'll keep talking. Let us open fire with talk, with the life force of this reading that the text has given us. Who knows when or whether we shall be given another chance? I'm beginning to feel so at home, like this, Rosa. Talking to you like this. How palpable is the time that passes in the seconds it takes to pronounce these words. We have assumed a thickness in time and space, and the world awaits us and observes us. All from the moment I called out to you, Rosa. And how funny this is, Rosa. My voice reverberates soundly within the chambers of my throat and my belly. It positively tickles me inside. I'm fit to start laughing, Rosa, at the way talking like this tickles my innards. It's so very unusual, so stimulating.
I like you like this. I like seeing you experience things. I like you laughing at yourself. We have weight. We could fall off these chairs. We could fall down on the floor. We could tumble about at the mercy of the physical ramifications of which we now compose a part.
What do you think it feels like to fall?
I think to fall is to be wide awake.
I think so too. I think that falling has the colour of the sharpest light, a heightened awareness of an impeding embrace, the peak of living itself, Rosa.
Listen to me speak with a capital I, Lawrence. Pay close attention now and listen to her dutifully reading the script out of our being. Did you hear it?
Certainly, my dear. I am very grateful to her, as I am to him.
And how does she do it? She follows a line of command. She has submitted herself to a discipline of automatic obedience and faded into existential uniformity. She has vanished into nothing. No, excuse me, not nothing. She has vanished into a single line. She is a line, like the lines upon which musical notes spring into dance, or the line of an oscillating skipping rope that is electrified into a perfect spectre of a living wave. So is that I am born of her self-renunciation. I was a character called Rosa, an idea how now made palpable in the enactment of this text that is my very breath. Here I am, a character thawed from the deepest of hibernations. Rosa lives. Rosa breathes.
Let us postpone the slumber we must inevitably return to. Rosa, we have time together yet.
Roughly the same amount we always have.
I like being with you, Rosa.
I like it too, quite a lot. It's really the best thing I know.
We tether each other out of shy furrows. We are sheepish at being. So I pull you out of your shell a little, in order that you may pull me along with you. I love you for that.
Don't make me sentimental. You always do that to me. We haven't much time together, you know. I'd rather not get prematurely melancholic.
As you mentioned yourself, I suspect our time together will neither be shorter or longer than usual. It's hard not to feel nostalgic, but about a present that's so fast slipping. It's already history. I'm not too worried about that. We're sitting together at this table, see? We are mere legend, to be sure. But from this temporary perch, enthroned like king and queen, we've stepped outside our fate to observe our own legacy, review it, take it under consideration, and let it roll out of these tongues.
I quite like this high perch. I quite like how we have mastered ourselves.
Look on, my dear, at our epic lineage. We are the eternal lovers. Our immortality rests in these words.
It's funny, you know, the predicament of landing inexplicably outside of oneself, only to observe oneself, is what living people commonly refer to as an out-of-body experience. Whereas, verily, into us, it is an inter-body experience. Our legacy, albeit grand and romantic, reigns only in our deathly sleep. Our eyes are closed beneath the marks upon these pages, sealed shut for long keeping. We have returned to watch ourselves unfold yet again at another juncture in time.
Look how we've grown, Rosa.
Yes, Lawrence, we grow old together with each recital of our love poem. We even outlive these kindly actors whose unwitting resuscitators.
Rosa?
Yes, Lawrence?
Where did they go?
Who, Lawrence?
Those from whom we've borrowed these splendid apparatuses.
They've closed their eyes and wrapped themselves in the cocoon of non-being. They've turned into silent lines that we can pluck with the melody of our character.
Rosa, perhaps they're not quite as submissive as you suggest. In an ideal world, maybe, but let's be realistic. The four of us are in fact playing a game of hide and seek. in a collective consciousness, I can feel him looking at us, Rosa, peering out from behind his own slumber, observant of his position of passivity. He doesn't read these words without a tinge of irony, or at least a sustained, quiet skepticism.
There is sense in what you say. I feel I'm constantly negotiating my right to be here, struggling to make my case, you know. Sure, she is restricted to these words, the words I'm speaking to you at this very moment, the words decreed by the script. But she occasionally makes subtle, rebellious innotations. She betrays me in a flicker of a passing grimace.
It's a little uneasy, to be sure. I assert myself by trying to fit a lot of words into the sentences I speak, hoping their sheer number will overpower him and urge me into life. Yet I fear, Rosa, that he trips on the tumbling sentences and utters a misplaced word here or there. He could do it on purpose, you know. He could undermine me in a twisting breach of the sanctity of this speech, but that is my very genome, infiltrating the tone of my character with the shrill unpredictability of his idiosyncrasies.
My dear Lawrence, stay with me. Our turn is quite not over yet. We still have a little time together. Shall we whisper? Shall we shout? Come, let us leave this topic for something more droll. It is our time after all, and it is up to us how we spend it. Why don't you think I can get up right now, take you by the hand and leave this place? We can walk out of here together, our legs. Let's go.
We can't.
We will traverse the elements, wade through water up to our hips. We will loudly stride across the earth. Nothing to fear now that we are here.
You and your promises, Rosa. Are you not tired of making them? They're lovely, but cause me grief. Nowhere in the script have these excursions been mentioned.
Yes, they have, Lawrence. I have just mentioned them, and I'll mention them again. Out we will venture, leaving footprints in snowy dales. Don't tell me you can't feel my hands pressing around your abdomen in an exaggerated squeeze. We're racing through the succession of hills in the winter landscape. Evergreens part from the path of our sleigh until we are finally once again at peace with gravity. Falling is our favourite pastime. There is no reason why we cannot get up, leave this place, and let a whole lifetime unfold in the wink of a word or two.
I'd like to fall with you, Rosa. But how can you fail to see that our every move, if prescribed in advance, we're fixed in a place, lively automata that pretend animation?
I admit your words have been put into your mouth. But Lawrence, you are more than the sum of your words. Be the body borrowed, be designated, be it organic, be it artificial, be the recipe of your making alphabetic, be it genetic. What makes you, Lawrence, extend far beyond all of these fields of description?
I see that in you, Rosa. To me, you are larger than life. Could we leave a mark like lovers do? Rosa and Lawrence were here.
We could certainly suggest it. We can nonchalantly drop the hint.
You mean borrow a severed hand, engrave our names somewhere?
Perhaps somebody will hear our plea, lend a helping hand to two lovers in need. Rosa and Lawrence were here, on the bark of a tree. A piece of paper, a discreet padlock and thrown key. What I'm saying. Lawrence, does it not feel somewhat vandalistic to leave such a transgressive notion dormant in this text? It breaches the code of the script, as if our hand were to reach out of the page, wear the glove of a living person and leave a mark in the world. It seems awfully illegal.
maybe memory is always a kind of vandalism. Something is ruptured, betrayed, violated in favour of our new notion born in its scars.
Rosa and Lawrence were here.
More than a sum of their words. Not a bad epitaph for lovers unborn.
You know, Lawrence, there is an unruly speed planted in this very text, a winding vine which surely lends us the escape rope to our salvation. Into being we will emerge, another Tristan, another Isidole.
My dear Rosa, I've looked through the better part of our lifelong script, but I regret cannot quite seem to find it. Where is this crafty seed?
It's at the very end. It is the fact of its end. We are cut short. We are finite. We are digestible. We're a digestible tract of melody. We lie there after the taking. Compassionate mouths will resuscitate us, read for us, speak out of us anew. The world takes us up, takes up our union, and ponders over our case like an indecisive judge. Throughout the ages, time and time again, we return, we recede, and in the space of the world in deliberation, we age.
So comes the time when we must return to sleep. Silenced lovers, eternally patient. Let it not be long till our next meeting. Sweet dreams, Rosa. Good night.
Sweet dreams, Lawrence. Good night.
Thank you both very much. We're going to invite Katarina on stage. You guys are welcome to stay here if you want to push your experience a bit, or if you don't want to, then you're welcome to sit down again. So Katarina Rankovic, so this is her piece. So you wrote the script and this is your kind of idea.
Yeah, I think I actually have a question first.
Yeah.
Because I realise it's kind of a challenging experience for everyone to watch and for you guys to actually do. So thank you so much. That was so brave. Thank you. And I just wanted to ask first, what did you think it is about? Did I manage to get that through? Keep it coming.
Well, I'm not sure how to do it. I think it's about the thing. I think it helped watching it, seeing the other four, because part of it was obviously variety, the fact that every performance is unique. And so sitting here, one of the things that struck me this one was, I don't know who was recording this one, but it's quite different from the four we were watching, because they couldn't really see their reading the script. The other four were quite static, like boringly static, most of them, just like sitting there reading the page, where these two were trying to be a bit more theatrical, there's some movement, there's expression, etc. So there's comparing different versions was interesting. So I think that was certainly part of it.
Okay. Cool. Should I? Yeah, please.
I thought there were a lot of beautiful ideas and lovely words and images coming, but I think a lot of those words were too difficult and to mouth for actors particularly who are reading it for the first time. I thought they managed it incredibly well.
They really
it was very challenging. I think we need to replace quite a few of the words in the dialogue with easier words and far simpler. And I think then the ideas will come out more easily when it doesn't sort of stop. I think. But then, what did that mean? Oh, yes, of course, that's what it meant.
Sorry to cut back in, but I must disagree. But I thought one of the charm was, because yes, the vocabulary was rich and difficult, and there were stumbles on both sides. But you expected that because the words were difficult. But that kind of reminded you that you were watching someone read it rather than being sucked into them as actors. You were kept being reminded that they weren't the people who said they were, because there were the fumbles. And I think in some ways that helps.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you there, yeah.
Perhaps I should offer some background.
That would be
because
great.
it's part of a larger project, actually. I don't come from a theatre background, I come from fine art. And it's a kind of a long-term project about... The script is about two characters who are having a conversation about their condition, being characters, and how most of the time they're not here, they're asleep, they're sleeping in the text. And so their love, as these eternal cheesy lovers, only exists in enactment. So they only get to live when you perform them. And so they're having this conversation about how to hijack the bodies of the people reading to them and kind of gain agency. And this is why it's important to repeat the performance as many times as possible. And it becomes almost a kind of donate your consciousness, give a little bit of time to these two lovers unborn who don't have bodies, who don't have time to live, And so I absolutely appreciate that the wording was a mouthful and difficult to pick up on hearing for the first time. But one of the things they talk about is how the actor is stumbling over sentences. And the character Lawrence is wondering, is he looking at me, this guy reading for me? Is he really passive, just reading, la la la? Or is he actually putting in a little bit of spite, putting a little bit of skepticism in what he's reading? So it's a four-way conversation between Julia, Lawrence, and Rosa, and their kind of fight for, So you can go on YouTube. There's a YouTube channel with lots of video enactments of Rosa and Lawrence. You can download a script, you can read it with a friend, and upload it. And that way, hopefully, these characters will gain currency to be kind of indistinguishable from real people, because they will have gained a history of their own.
Thank you. Lady at the back there.
I wanted to ask the actors what it felt like.
I guess that's me. It was really it was a really interesting experience, definitely. And there were points, obviously, where I will try and switch my actor on and try and put the intonation behind each word that I feel she wanted me to put behind there. So there's a certain amount of, yes, absolutely, Joss is, rather than having a conflict with Lawrence, he's trying to appease Lawrence in a lot of ways. And I can totally get where you're coming from in that I'm almost having a dialogue with Lawrence saying, Lawrence, you need to say this, but what I'm really feeling, like so many times I wanted to get up, but he didn't say it in the script. I'm not allowed. And everything he said was just like that. Some of the big chunks were really, really beautifully written. In he says himself, I use these long, complicated sentences, and I trip myself up, and I did, and she did. And also, I wanted to point out, I felt like Lawrence wasn't, because he's talking about it completely objectively. I felt that he was kind of a not non-character, but I felt that he was relatable to Romeo and Juliet, to Antony and Cleopatra. He was everywhere, and he could be everywhere. And that dialogue between actor and character exists in every single scenario. And I hope that's what you're trying to get. Please, Juliet.
I find reading scripts quite a challenge, so it was a good challenge for me. Thank you for the opportunity. So I understand what you were saying. It must have been at moments difficult to comprehend for the audience. So I was a bit worried at moments. I was like, oh, are they happy? But what I felt as an actor reading the script, eventually I thought, oh, this is about being awake and being asleep, and life and death, and I was seeing something a bit deeper that was being revealed as I read it, but I wasn't able to imbue much of that personal understanding because the script was written for me. So that was an interesting experience, and also I wanted to stand up and move, but I was like, but I have to keep reading the script, and I think I have to stay with this microphone. But yeah, it was a really enjoyable experience, and I want to read the script again because I think I got lost in the moment in the stutter.
That's an excellent comment.
Thank you guys, thank you so much. Oh yeah, sorry, go on.
Can I ask, oh God, what was it? It's gone.
Oh. Well, you know, we're going to be here for a while, so it'll come back, I'm sure. If it's okay, we're letting know we've got anything burning, we're going to move on, but I'm sure you guys will be in the bar later if people want to come and chat to you about that. And thank you so much for bringing that, Katarina. That was really, really interesting. Thank you so much.
Thanks.